The question of the day, are we gonna survive in the forest? Now this is Fearsome Wilderness, where we are playing as 4 folktale heroes, trying to build a shelter in time before winter, and also making sure that we survive the critters that are lurking from the night and from other places of the forest as well. We just got dropped off at a lake, and here's where our story begins. Here's how the game works. We're gonna follow step by step what this card says on the daytime phase, and this is what's gonna happen at night. We're gonna go through this one by one. So starting out first with the day phase, we are first going to progress the day tracker. It is now Monday when our heroes have just been dropped off. Next up, we're going to flip over all of our face down cards. Here are the trees that have been planted in the forest already. We also have the critters that are also populating the forest as well. We have the Jersey Devil, the Squonk, and the Goofus Bird. I'll explain all of these when our heroes finally encounter them. Now there are 2 modes that you can play in this game. First is the one-shot mode. This one, your goal is to just gather a certain amount of logs in one entire week. You can go from 5 logs, you can go from 8 logs, or even 12 logs if you're feeling really, really daring. And then there's also the campaign mode, which is the one that we're gonna play, and we're gonna play the very first scenario, which is called the first week. Our mission is to gather 5 logs and bring them back to the lake. Sounds simple, right? We'll see how that goes. Our heroes all start off with 2 food each, but every single day we gotta eat. So we're gonna take 1 food token from every single hero. This is the upkeep for every phase. And we're also gonna take 1 water from every hero as well. Now the cool thing is, because we're at the lake, we have a fresh source of water. So we're gonna boil that up and keep that to drink. The same thing happens if we're at a well space, because we also have a fresh source of water and we don't need to drink water from our reserve. However, if we're in this space, or this space, we will need to consume water. Now next up is step 5, where we are going to plant trees, but we can't plant any trees on the lake space. We can, however, plant trees on every other space, but it increases the further you get to the forest. So we have 1 tree maximum here, 2, 3, and you can plant a total of 4 trees in this final space. What we can do next though is move up to 2 spaces, but because our heroes are all afflicted with conditions, I want to get rid of that first. So we're gonna hold off on moving and stay here at the lake. Okay, what's happened so far? We have moved the day forward. We have ate food. We also drank water, and we also decided not to plant any trees because we can't plant any trees at the lake space yet. And we also decided not to move. Now next up is where the bulk of this game begins, and that is rolling some folk dice. These are here our folk dice, and we have a total of 2 re-rolls after our main roll. Now let me show you how this works. Let's start off first with Johnny Appleseed. He's gonna go first. Okay, we have 2 leaves, we have 2 waters, an axe, and food. Let me show you all these icons. This is what we're looking for. These leaves are gonna help us get rid of his condition. His condition, however, needs a total of 3 leaves in order to get rid of Wary. Wary is going to reduce his movement by 1. Next up is the axe. Now this axe lets us cut down trees. We're of course, however, at a space where there are no trees at all. This one allows us to gain food, and these next 2 allow us to gain water. Now since my main focus is going to be getting rid of his condition, I'm actually going to re-roll all of these, and hopefully we get 1 more leaf. Oh, there we go. 1 leaf has been scored. We also have food, water, very, very good roll, and we have an axe. So I'm gonna re-roll 1 last time. Bam, okay, that's an axe again, which is fine because we're gonna turn in these 3 leaves in order for us to get rid of Wary. There goes 1 condition gone, very good start, and we also gain 1 food and 1 water. Here's 1 food and 1 water. And that's how 1 character's turn works. You're going to roll dice, and then depending on which symbol that you roll, it's gonna let you allocate them into different areas. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to Paul Bunyan's turn. Paul's turn, and we need to get some leaves. Oh, there is 1 leaf, 2 leaves, and we also have a paw print. Now this is new. This allows us to attack critters when we get to those future spaces. We also have a skull icon. If we have this one by the end of our final roll, we're gonna take 1 damage. So this is probably the worst one. And then we have an axe and another skull. Now Paul's condition is worn out, which reduces his movement by 1 and also reduces his attack by 1. It's worse than Johnny Appleseed's. We definitely get rid of it. So we're gonna go for some more leaves. And no leaves again. We did get 2 waters, a skull, and a paw print. Let's go ahead and reroll all of them. Leaf, leaf, leaf. No leaves, which means this has been now rendered useless. However, we did gain 2 water, and these 2 are null for now. We have an axe and a paw print. Can't use those yet. We did, however, gain 2 water for Paul, which isn't too bad. Moving on to Babe. Now, as we go towards the right, we absolutely need to get rid of these conditions. Babe can't move at all. He has overtired, which means he has -2 to movement. He can't move. Let's get rid of this right now. and throw some leaves. 1 leaf, and the rest are not leaves at all. Re-rolling. Super duper random dice. Oh, there we go. See that? Oh my god, did I seriously just roll 6 leaves? I mean, that was pretty impressive. I would have to say, for that super random roll. I need to do those more often. We now have enough leaves to get rid of Babe's condition, but I just realized that his condition actually only requires 2 leaves. With that, I will use these 2 and turn them in, and I can roll 1 more time. Let's go ahead and just go for some resources, shall we? Super random roll. And this time we get an axe, and of course, 3 more leaves, which we don't need at all. So we can't use any of these dice. However, we can turn those 2 in order to get rid of Overtired. All right, we're now moving on to our final character, Calamity Jane, who has been afflicted with nauseous, which means she has a -1 to movement as well, but she can't get any food tokens until you get rid of this. 2 leaves is all we need. And super random roll. Okay, we have 2 waters, 3 skulls, and an axe. Can't use any of those. Let's go and roll again. Oops. I need a dice tower. Or a dice tray. Okay, we got 2 paw prints. We got 2 leaves, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and get rid of nauseous. Bam. And we have 1 resource. Let's go ahead and roll 1 last time. Paw print, we did get 1 water. This is a good roll. We have 2 food and 1 water. Calamity Jane gains 2 food and 1 water. Okay, that's not too bad because for our first turn, we got rid of 3 out of 4 conditions. And that only means that Paul is gonna be left behind, which is okay because we can kind of split the party and we can mobilize everyone else going forward. Now from here, to finish off our turn, we're going to remove all damage tokens, but no one has taken damage yet because we haven't faced any critters. Trees also have their cuts removed, but we again haven't cut down any trees yet because we haven't encountered trees yet. And that's it. We're gonna flip over this card and begin the night phase. Now for nighttime effects, the first 2 aren't gonna happen because we aren't at a space where there's a critter on the same space as us, which means there are no overnight effects and there are no nightmares, thank goodness. However, we are going to move forward with step 3, which is to move the critters. The Jersey Devil is going to move 1 space towards us, and we have the Squonk and Goofus Bird also moving this way as well. Now remember, the forest that we're in is very unusual, and there are going to be a lot of critters that are going to be spawning every single turn. On top of that, when you're planting a tree, this unusual creepiness of the forest actually is going to spur our tree's growth, which means once we plant it in 1 turn, the next turn the tree is going to be fully grown, which is great for us, unless it's not a good tree, but we'll see if we ever get there. Now the last part of the night phase is that critters can actually crawl out from the well. In order to find out if they do, we're actually going to roll just 1 folk die right into the well, and that is luckily a leaf. If it was a paw print, then a new critter would have been spawned at this space. Okay, moving forward, we're gonna flip this over and begin a new day. It's now Tuesday. Now this is how the general flow of the game works. There's some general upkeep with food and water because we have to eat and drink every single day. And then from there, we also have to make it in time before this board gets overpopulated with critters. Actually, speaking of that, I forgot to place 2 more critters here, which are the Squonk and the Aggro Pelter. Now from there, the day moves forward. It's now Tuesday, and we're going to start eating food again, drinking water, and making our way towards the forest. Because we're on the same space, our heroes can also share food and share water as a side note. And also, if we take damage later on, we can spend or we can consume 2 food in order to heal 1 damage. For now, general upkeep, everyone's going to eat. We don't need a drink since we're on the lake space. Nothing to plant yet, but now we're gonna move our heroes, and we're gonna move everyone except Paul. Let's go ahead and move Johnny and Calamity Jane and Babe the Blue Ox 1 tile forward. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna push through it. We're gonna go all the way to the Jersey Devil and just start attacking critters because A, we cannot have this board flooded, and B, we have 7 turns. We're gonna make every single turn count. And any turn where we can decrease the amount of critters on the board is a good turn. Let's do it. Johnny Appleseed is going to move 2 spaces since he is going to do some melee attacks. We'll also have Babe join him as well. Calamity Jane has a special ability and she's allowed to actually attack from a distance. She has +1 to ranged attacks. And then sorry Paul, we're gonna leave you behind for a little bit until we can get rid of your worn out condition. From there, let's go ahead and start rolling for Johnny Appleseed. Now we need some paw prints. Ooh, not a single paw print in sight. Okay, we're gonna re-roll all those dice again. And we gotta initiate our Amazing dice roll. Oh, there we go. Like I said, 1, 2, 3 paw prints, which is absolutely amazing. Now, paw prints, this is how attacking works. The more paw prints you have, then the more damage you're going to do to the critter. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, in total 3 damage that's going to be done to the Jersey Devil. But if we take a closer look at the Jersey Devil, you notice here on the bottom left corner that it shows 5 paw prints. That's how many you need in order to get rid of the Jersey Devil. But every monster is going to retaliate. You notice here that there are 5 scratches at the very bottom. That means the Jersey Devil is going to in turn roll 5 critter dice. However, if you do manage to destroy the Jersey Devil, then you'll in turn get 2 food. You'll have some critter meat left over for you to for some resources. With that, let's go ahead and try to roll one last time and get as many paw prints as possible. And nice. Not really. We're gonna take 1 damage from this skull. And we have 1 water resource as well. And we're also gonna deal 3 damage to the Jersey Devil. However, like I mentioned earlier, we're now going to roll some critter dice. We're gonna roll 5 of them. Okay, and let me show you how this works. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, the antlers here mean that we are going to gain a mutation. The Jersey Devil has just attacked us, and in turn, we have been mutated, and we're gonna gain a special ability in 1 second. But let me go ahead and explain these other dice too. You notice here that they all have scratches. The number of scratches show you how much damage you're going to take if they were to be rolled in a pair. So since all of these are singles, then none of this damage is going to actually occur. However, if I were to roll something like this, then I would have taken 1 damage. But in this case, we are good to go, and we have just 1 mutation. Our first hero has now gained a mutation. Johnny Appleseed is now mutated, and that's a great thing because they all give beneficial effects. And how they work is you're going to roll 1 folk die, and depending on what this shows, it's going to give you a specific mutation. Let's go ahead and roll, and we get the skull, which means we're gonna have some thick hide. This is a great defensive ability because now we're gonna have -2 damage each time you are hurt. We're also gonna take 1 cube to make sure that we denote that we have the thick hide ability, and that goes for Johnny Appleseed. Now, moving forward, we're now going to go ahead and roll for Paul Bunyan. Again, his goal here is to get rid of his worn out, so we need, this time, lots of leaves. 1, 2 leaves were on the first roll. Amazing, and we're gonna roll again. There we go, there's our 3rd leaf, and let's go ahead and re-roll these 2 skulls. Water and 1 skull. We'll take 1 damage for Paul Bunyan. We also gain 1 water and 1 food. And lastly, 3 leaves, which means our worn out condition is now gone. He is ready to move forward with everybody else. Okay, that was amazing. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Babe's turn. Now, Babe this time is also gonna be aiming for paw prints. We need 2 paw prints to get rid of the Jersey Devil. 1 paw print. There we go, 2 paw prints on the first roll. That's what I'm talking about, man. Okay, let's go ahead and just re-roll 1 skull. And we get another paw print. Let's re-roll 1 last time. And we get an axe. Okay, this is not gonna do anything for us for now, but we are gonna gain 2 food, 1 water, 2 food for Babe, right in time, because he was empty, and 1 water. And we also are going to deal the final 2 hits to the Jersey Devil, which means this critter is now gone, but again, retaliation does occur. So here are 5 dice. Now we would have gained this mutation, but you'll also notice here that we just rolled 2 X's, which means this cancels out the effects of all critter dice, which means that absolutely nothing happens here. And we're gonna set this aside and move forward to our last and final hero, and that is for Calamity Jane. Now for her turn, I actually just wanna gain as many resources as possible, and here we go. Paw print. We have a bunch of food. Let's go ahead and re-roll these 2. Hopefully we get some water. There we go, 1 water, 1 skull, and let's re-roll 1 last time. And 5 food on 1 turn. 5 food, 1 water. 3, 4, 5 cubes, all going to Calamity Jane. And 1 water. Now this was a really good turn for us. We have a ton of resources. We are fully loaded, we're fully stocked. We also got rid of every condition, and we also got rid of a critter too that was blocking the well. From there, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the nighttime phase, but now not much happens because we have no critters. So again, we're gonna skip the first 2 night phases and then move on for critters moving towards us. All right, here we go. Squonk and the Goofus bird is gonna move forward. Another 2 move forward. And we're also gonna populate more critters that are lurking from the darkness. Oh, here is a brand new one. And this one, let's go ahead and show you what this does. So this is the Wampus or Wampus cat. This one says starts at the lake. This is gonna give us some problems because now this overnight effect is gonna occur if we're on the same space again. And we're also going to roll again for the well. And we roll an axe, thank goodness. Okay, now it's Wednesday and we're almost halfway through our turns. We haven't planted a single tree yet. Am I starting to sweat? Absolutely not. I am totally chilling. We are totally chilling. And from here, we're gonna start making some bigger moves because now every single space on the board, except one, except where Calamity Jane is filled with a critter. And we need to make sure that is not happening for overnight effects, or it's gonna be a whole downhill spiral effect and it's not gonna be good for us. Let's get started with turn 3. Okay, we're gonna move this forward to track our days. No trees to flip over. Everyone's going to eat and drink water as well, except for Paul since he is on the lake space. Well, actually, except for our other 2 here because they're at the well space. It costs every hero 3 waters in order to plant 1 tree, except for Johnny Appleseed who has a +1 to plant tree. Jane's going to plant this tree. And since Babe and Johnny Appleseed are on the same space, they can actually share water. Babe is gonna go ahead and give 1 water over to Johnny, and therefore, Johnny's special ability allows him to plant an extra tree, or plant a tree for a cost of 1 less, which means we can plant 1 tree at this space, and no trees here. Moving forward to the movement action. Now I'm actually gonna move Paul to 1 space over here, and I'm gonna move these 2 over here so they can start cutting down trees. I'm actually gonna move Jane over here as well. We're gonna go straight forward and start trying to cut down this tree. From there, let's go ahead and roll our folk hero dice. Starting first with Johnny Appleseed, and roll. We need axes now. We have paw print, 4 paw print icons. Actually, that might be okay. Maybe we can just start attacking these monsters in the meantime. We have 5 paw prints in 1 turn. I thought Johnny was gonna be the peaceful type, but apparently he's a full-on offensive character right now, which I'm okay with. Let's go with that. 5 paw print icons, and we can reroll 1 more. So this leaf, let's go ahead and try to go for either another paw print or an axe. And roll. That's a skull. We're gonna do that again. And water. Okay. I'll take that. 5 hits. 5 hits, and we can also allocate our damage as well. I'm gonna take 3 for the aggro pelter and put 2 on the squonk. Now, like I mentioned earlier, they are going to retaliate. So the aggro pelter is going to roll 1, 2, 3 critter dice. This one is a broken bone. It's a condition as well. And we did roll, however, a pair of 2 damage, which means we will take 2 damage for Johnny. With 2 damage on him, he has a maximum health of 6, so he has 50% left, and we need to start healing for that, hopefully, but he has no resources. That may present a problem in the future. In the meantime, the aggro pelter is gone. The aggro pelter does leave behind, however, 1 food. That may address that 1 problem. And then we have the squonk, who is going to take 2 damage, and also is going to roll 4 critter dice, a little bit stronger than the aggro pelter. And roll. We get another pair of 2s, which means 2 more damage for Johnny Appleseed. That's not looking good for us. We have 1 health left for Johnny. Okay, from there, these critter dice are gonna be set to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and roll 4. Next up is Paul Bunyan. His goal, however, is to start gaining resources, so when everyone is going to meet up with him, he can go ahead and disperse all the food and water. Oops, forgot to roll this one too. And we get, let's see, food, water, and re-roll these 4. Okay, 2 leaves. We get 1 more resource, and let's try to re-roll 1 last time. And we get 1 more resource. Those axes are gonna come in handy later because he's the best at cutting down trees. Here we have 3 food and 1 water. Now moving on to Babe's turn, we need paw prints or axes. 2 paw prints, leaves, and resources. Okay, we'll take these 2. If we deal 2 more damage, we can get rid of the squonk. Paw prints. Okay, we got 1 more paw print. If we can just take 1 more paw print, I need 1 more of these, and we can finish off the squonk. Babe is like the tankiest class out of everybody, and if we can attack the squonk and deal all the damage now, the critter dice will only affect him and not Jane. Let's pray for one more paw print. Oh, we did get it right here. Okay, nice. Paw print, and we also gained an axe too and some food, which is amazing. 1 food for us, 1 damage to the hemlock, and we're also gonna deal 4 damage to the squonk. Now again, the squonk is going to roll 4 critter dice. And we have an X. We are gonna take 1 damage, not too big of a deal for Babe. And that's it. So luckily this turn we did manage to escape more overnight and nightmare effects. Now the last thing for this turn is to remove damage from trees and critters. You'll notice here how the western hemlock is gonna take 9 axes in order to get rid of this hemlock, but in turn, it's going to produce 3 logs. This, however, is cleared for the turn and now begins the nighttime phase once again. Now one thing I should also mention before we move critters is that some monsters or some critters actually move slowly. And what this means and what I was supposed to do earlier is actually that the squonk is going to go up to an edge of a space in 1 turn, and then the next turn they'll actually move to the next one. So it takes 2 movement for slow monsters to be moving from tile to tile. But that's okay because I feel like I made it harder for us anyway. Now from the squonk, we're gonna move this to the edge. We're gonna move the Goofus bird. Now, because the Goofus bird actually is equidistant between these 2 heroes, we can actually decide to see where they're gonna move to. I'm gonna go ahead and move this bird towards Paul. And the tea kettler is also going to move here. And we'll also have the Wampus cat move in the same space as Paul as well. From there, 2 more are going to populate. And we're going to roll for the well. Here we go. And we get a skull. No monsters and beginning day 4. Alright, we are now going to move on towards Thursday. Flip over all of our trees. This gets flipped over, this gets flipped over. We have the white oak, costs 5 to cut down and will give us 2 logs. This one is the western red cedar. Actually, this is a really good one because this one only costs 2 axes to cut down and it will produce 1 log. In case we are short, this might be a good savior in the very end. And then from there, we're going to eat food. Everyone's going to eat 1. And everyone is not on a well or lake space, which means we'll also consume 1 water as well. Babe, however, does not have any water, and neither does Johnny. Oh, and Calamity Jane has no water either to give, which means Babe's gonna take 1 damage. And actually, shoot, Johnny actually is the first person to die. The good thing in Fearsome Wilderness is that our folk heroes are actually immortal. However, there is some give and take when heroes die. In this case, we're gonna lose out on his entire turn, but Johnny Appleseed does leave something behind. You know what, technically Johnny doesn't die because he did have a mutation Thick Hide that I forgot to implement as well. However, we're gonna play through it and make it harder for ourselves, make it harder for our heroes. And how death works in this game is that when heroes die, they have this effect. They have an upon death effect. In this case, Johnny's actually going to leave behind 1 random tree, and then when the night phase begins, we're going to place them at the well space with maximum health. That might not be too bad for us. In this case, we are going to lose our mutation and just play it through. And also, Johnny's gonna be removed from the board for now, temporarily. And we're also gonna place a tree right here. Now we all can't plant trees because Paul already has 1 tree here, and these 2 heroes have absolutely no water on this space. We're gonna take the damage next turn and we'll leave them here, but for now we're gonna go ahead and move our heroes. Actually, I'm gonna move Paul to join them because I really wanna cut down this western hemlock. And from there, let's go ahead and roll our folk hero dice. Let's go ahead and start off first with Paul. We need axes, a lot of them. We have absolutely no axes on the first roll. Let's try again. And we get 1 axe and 3 skulls in 1 roll. We're gonna roll 1 last time. And we get paw print, and we have a couple resources. We have 1 food for Paul, 1 water for Paul. We also have an axe, we'll put this on the western hemlock, and 2 damage that we can deal to the tea kettler. Let's go ahead and do Babe's turn. Ooh, we're not getting any axes at all here. Okay, we have 2 more paw prints. I'm gonna actually use 1 of them to deal the final damage to the tea kettler. This one's gonna go. We'll deal with the critter damage in a second and reroll all of these. We need axes, but we really need a lot of axes actually. Okay, and no axes again. We're gonna reroll one last time. And we get one more axe, and we're actually gonna take 2 more damage for Babe. Not looking good for us. 1 more damage to the Western Hemlock, and we're gonna go ahead and roll for the Tea Kettler, who has 1, 2, 3 critter dice. Set these to the side for a second, and roll the critter dice. Look at that. 2 more damage onto Babe. Shoot. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. Babe has a total of 8 health. We definitely need to watch out for that. And lastly, Calamity Jane's turn. Now, like I said earlier, she can also attack monsters on a space that's adjacent to them, but actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to roll 6 axes here. Now, here's the problem. For Jane's turn, she either needs to roll 6 axes in order to take down this Western Hemlock, or 6 paw prints in order to attack the adjacent Squonk. She would also need 6 paw prints in order to take down the Squonk at the well site. But I could also attack the Silver Cat, which has 3 health, and I could also just gain some resources. I think I'm just gonna see what the dice give me and go from there. All right, Jane, what do you got? We have 2 damage, and let's go ahead and re-roll the rest. It looks like I'm gonna try to take down the Silver Cat then. Even better if it's a Jackalope. And nothing this turn. Let's try one more time for damage. And we get 1 final paw print. Actually, this is pretty good for us. Also gain 1 food, 1 water. Looking pretty good. And we're gonna go ahead and take out the Silver Cat. Now for Jane, she actually is not gonna initiate any kind of retaliation from these critter dice because she's a space away. However, she's also not gonna gain the reward either. The Silver Cat normally would give off 1 critter food, would give off 1 food token there, but because she's 1 space away, that's the trade-off there. Now, the Silver Cat is dead, and the Western Hemlock is going to recover, and we're gonna go ahead and move on towards the night phase. Critters are going to move again. We have a Squonk moving slowly, these 2 moving over here. Okay, it's time to bring Johnny back, and actually, it's not gonna be a good time for him to revive because now he's going to face a ton of overnight effects. Let's go ahead and spawn Johnny. Johnny revives back at the well space, and we're now going to resolve an overnight effect from the Squonk. This one says to roll critter dice and also take a desperate. We're gonna go ahead and roll 1, 2, 3, 4. Here are the 4 critter dice. And Johnny is going to take 2 damage, and then it also gives a nightmare. I've been trying to avoid nightmares and overnight effects the entire game, but here we are getting hit with them first off with Johnny. Now here's how a nightmare works. You're going to draw 1 random critter card, and depending on what you draw, this is going to initiate an effect in the book. In this case, we have drawn the Dingmaw. Now here is our manual / reference guide, and in this hardcover book, here is the Dingmaw's nightmare effect. Your feet sink into the ground slowly. Your vision begins to blur. You are greeted by a familiar face, a past lover. Whoa, that just took a turn. They ask you to follow them, but your feet are stuck. Worms writhe around your ankles. Roll to wake up. If you do, take the bitter condition. Now when we roll for nightmares, we're going to roll 1 die. If it's a leaf, we wake up and the nightmare ends. But if we roll a skull, we're gonna wake up as well, but also take 1 damage. Okay, here's our roll. And we get a leaf. Nice, so we do wake up. However, we are gonna take the bitter condition. We're gonna look through our condition deck for bitter. And it looks like it is this one. Says must move to a space without any other folk heroes on it if possible. Well, that makes sense. If I had a nightmare, I'd be pretty bitter too. However, that means he's going to be avoiding every other folk hero. We need to get rid of this condition ASAP. It's not looking good for Johnny. And he's also gonna take 1 more condition from the Squonk. He also takes desperate as well. Ooh, this one does not look good at all. This one says -2 dice. He's desperate and bitter. Okay, overnight and nightmares are done. Now critters are going to move. Squonk stays in place because there is a folk hero here, but these 2 are going to move over to Johnny's space. And the Jackalope moves over to our heroes here, and 2 more spawn. We're also going to roll 1 more for the well. And luckily, no critter spawn from the well. Back to our day phase. It is now Friday. Okay, here's the situation. We have 3 turns left. Johnny cannot join the party. He has to go off on his own. Honestly, he's pretty much on a suicide mission right now. And the other 3 have to cut down some trees and really just rush all the way back to the beach. They have 2 turns. They're actually gonna take 2 turns in order to move back. So I'm thinking we go all the way to the very end. We're gonna go for the Douglas fir and we're gonna go for the white pine. Cut those down and just run all the way back. Because realistically, the western hemlock, it takes 9 cuts to cut that down, and that is probably gonna take all 4 heroes. We only have 3 heroes left. We're gonna take these 3, move them here, cut down these trees, and in the meantime, as our fail-safe plan, we'll take Johnny and have him cut down this white oak, hopefully, or maybe even cut down the red cedar. All right, Friday, upkeep time. Johnny, again, is gonna take 2 more damage because he has no food or water. Paul is going to expend 1 food. It's gonna give... Babe takes 1 food, and so does Jane. I'm also gonna give water over to Babe since he has none, and then take 1 water from all these 3. I also get to flip over this tree, another Douglas fir. Oh, this actually might change things because now with the Douglas fir here, I have 2 trees, 2 logs potentially here, 2 here, and 1 here. If I can cut down these 3 in the next 3 turns, we are good to go. My emotions in this game, it's like a flipping roller coaster right now. All right, from there, we're gonna go ahead and move spaces, but actually I don't wanna move anywhere at all. And then we're going to roll our folk hero dice. Starting off first with Johnny, trying to go ahead and cut down. Actually, I am gonna move Johnny over here and then go ahead and try to cut down this western red cedar. And we also have to remember that Johnny is desperate, which means he gets -2 dice. We have to roll 2 axes with 4 dice and 2 rerolls. Let's see what happens. 2 axes on spot, 3 axes actually, hell yes. And we have 1 water. Let's go ahead and reroll 1 more. And we get 1 leaf, but it won't do much to us. So let's go ahead and just go for a resource. And a skull. Okay, we're gonna take 1 damage. He has 1 health remaining, but he does cut down this tree in the nick of time. Also takes 1 water. And this tree gets cut down. That tree leaves behind 1 log. And we're gonna move on to Paul Bunyan's turn. Okay, Paul's turn, and he does have a +1 to fell, which means you're gonna add +1 more axe to your overall number of axes. Okay, 2 axes, looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and reroll these. And 2 more axes, yes. Okay, we also have 1 leaf, 1 water. Let's go ahead and reroll this last one. That should be actually enough for the Douglas fir. And we get 1 food resource. 1 food, 1 water. And now our goals have shifted. Our goal next is to take down this jackalope. Babe's turn. Nice, paw print, paw print, paw print. That's 3. And we also get 2 water and an axe. Let's go ahead and reroll these. We get 1 food, 1 water, and an axe. Need 1 more paw print. Oh, we get 2 paw prints, but we also get a skull. That's not good because Babe actually is the one who can carry 2 logs at once. That means Paul and Jane is gonna have to carry 1 log each. Not too bad. However, we do get to take down the jackalope. 3, 6. Babe has 1 health remaining. Hopefully we don't take any damage here. Let's go ahead and roll 1, 2, 3, 4 critter dice. And luckily, yes, thank goodness, we rolled some X's. X's are gonna cancel out all the dice effects. So thank goodness, Babe is still alive and jackalope is gone. Lastly, let's go ahead and finish off with Jane's turn. Her goal is to just gain as many resources as possible. Looking pretty good. Take these and 1 more reroll. Nice, all resources, 4 waters and 2 food. 1, 2, 3, 4 water and 1, 2 food. The night phase begins and the critters are going to move. We'll have everyone move, actually just have everyone move on over to this space. Populate 2 more. And roll 1 for the well. Oh, luckily that doesn't do anything for us. No critter spawn here, and that's it. My hands are literally so sweaty right now. I don't know if we're gonna make it because we need to carry back these logs. We also need to cut down the white oak on the way back, and we need to carry 1 more log that Johnny Appleseed has. I don't think that's too big of a deal, the last one, because he was only 1 space away from the beach. But what I'm worried about the most is whether or not we can cut down the tree and make it in time. We only have 2 turns left, people. Can we make this? I don't know. If you think we're gonna make this, can I get a hashtag we will survive in the comments down below? Okay, second to last turn. We're gonna flip over this card, progress the day marker to Saturday. And then no trees to flip over, no critters to flip over. Everyone's gonna eat. Johnny takes 1 more damage, 3, 4, 5. Actually, oh no, Johnny's actually gonna die again. He takes 1 more damage. He only has 1 health left because he has no food remaining. All right, all of these are gonna go here. Johnny gets off the board until the night phase again. However, a good thing is that these conditions are all gone. And we're gonna get rid of his water. All right, well that takes 1 character off the board and we have 3 here. Everyone's going to eat, but Paul's going to share some food with Babe and they'll eat. Jane will eat and water for everybody. Not gonna plant trees, but we're gonna go straight into moving. We're going to move and let's have Babe carry these 2 logs and we'll have him carry all the way, actually we'll have him carry here. And then we'll have these 2 move into the same space as well because we are trying to get this tree cut down so we can carry those last 2 logs. If we can roll 5 axes, which actually is looking pretty good because Paul Bunyan's here and he has +1 to fell. We are going to make it. First up, the master tree cutter, Paul Bunyan. Okay, we have 1 axe, 2 axes, pretty cool. Okay, let's re-roll these 4. And we get a skull, 2 paws, and 1 food. We have 1 last re-roll. Come on, axes. Yes, okay, we get 3 axes and 3 waters. Let's go take the waters right now. And +1 to fell, which means there's only 1 more axe that we have to roll. This is looking really, really nice for us. And let's go ahead and start off next with Babe's turn. Okay, Babe's mission is to survive. As long as I don't roll skulls, it'll be okay because I'm fairly confident that I'll get 1 more axe at least with Calamity Jane. If he rolls an axe, good, but I'm not gonna push for it as long as he doesn't have any skulls. Whatever I get with this roll, I'll keep. All right, come on, Babe. Okay, see this skull and this skull, that's gonna present some problems. We're gonna keep all of these just to be safe. We did get that axe, which is looking good as long as we don't roll any skulls. Okay, whew, that was a semi-close call because each hero can only carry 1 log except for Babe. So we would have ended our game with just 2 logs remaining at that space. Even if Johnny respawned there, I don't think he would have made it in time. We would have only been able to carry 1 log and we would have had 4 logs carried over to the beach, missing 1 log. Luckily, he didn't die. 2 food, 1 water. And also our last hit to the white oak, which means 2 more logs get generated here. And lastly, Calamity Jane's turn. Okay. She has a paw print. Okay, let's get rid of these. And 1 more roll. Okay, she's gonna take 1 hit. Actually, I think that might have been her first hit in the whole game. 3 waters, 1 food. Nice. Okay, night phase. Johnny comes back. No overnight or nightmares. Thank goodness. Critters are going to move. All of these are going to start crawling towards us. We need to run away fast. 2 more. And roll for the well. An axe. We are in good shape. And lastly begins our final phase. Now Johnny was supposed to leave behind another tree when he died here. And we're gonna go ahead and move on to our final day, Sunday. All these critters, a whole pile of critters are chasing us as we are running back home to the beach with a bunch of logs. I think we made it. Oh, this is a cursed tree too. Like I said in the beginning, not every tree is good. Now this cursed tree would have actually caused us damage and would have given us no logs at all. Luckily we don't have to deal with that and we're gonna disperse our food and water so everyone has it. Paul's gonna give water here and Jane's gonna give food to Johnny and then we're all gonna consume. We're all gonna eat 1 last time and drink 1 last time before our final turn. No trees to plant, but we're gonna carry our logs all the way home. First, it's going to be Babe running through with 2 logs. We have Johnny running with this 1 log. And then we have Jane running with this 1 log. And last but not least, Paul Bunyan coming in for the home stretch, carrying this log on the way back and making it to the beach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 logs. That is mission complete. Alright, since we have completed our mission on the very first attempt, you'll log this first attempt on the included journal sheets and mark off week 1. You'll also note how much food, how much water, and damage that you all end up with, and all these matter because there are actually 5 different endings depending on how many points that you score by the end of the entire campaign. With that, did we survive the forest? And that is a resounding yes, we made it. I hope you all enjoyed this cinematic gameplay of Fearsome Wilderness. Thank you so much again to Geektopia Games for sponsoring today's gameplay video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and with that, I will see you all in the next one.